Hi everybody, Jeremy here from Brew and Blooms here to show you the simple process of racking over out of your secondary into another carboy. We've got a big Merlot that's been conditioning for a while down in the basement. Now it's time to get it bottled up. So we're going to rack it off the last little bit of sediment. You could be using a bottling bucket, just a personal choice. I'm going to go into a glass carboy though. Process is the same. Everything that touches the wine must be sanitized to be on the safe side so that way we don't let any potential issues occur. Here in the next few days we'll bottle this up and we'll make a little video for that so you can see how easy it is to bottle and maybe even dress them up a little. But now let's get back to this. So where we're going from always needs to be a little bit higher than where we're going to. So when we rack, which is just moving our must from one spot, our wine from one spot to another with gravity. So what we got here, this is a little bit of an extra long tube that I like to use so I never have to worry about it falling out of the carboy, but it does like to make a mess. So I've already pre-sanitize the carboy. You can still actually see the star sand sitting in there. Don't fear the foam. So now I'm going to take our tubing and set it all the way down in the bottom. Just like I said, was sitting in a bucket of sanitizer solution, but just to make sure that we're good and sanitized, we're going to grab a little here and just kind of move it up and down because we're trying to get contact. In the beginning, follow the instructions. You should let this air dry. Honestly, we're going to just go right into our wine. So the way that this thing works, the auto siphon works, you stroke it a couple times, and then once we get it going, as long as the tip of the auto siphon stays below the surface of the wine, it'll rack into it. So when we're racking wine or beer, we got to be careful for oxidation issues. So another beautiful thing with having all that extra tubing is that I don't have to worry about once I get a little bit of wine in my carboy or my buckets, it's going to stay nice and sealed or airtight. The wine will be sitting on top of the bottom of the tubing. Alright, so that's the process. We've got it going. Pretty clear. We're in a big Merlot. You can see the sediment in the lines, or maybe you can't see the sediment in the lines of the carboy. Big shout out to Mario on Racine in Chicago on the south side. Alright, there you go. We've got probably a gallon and a half racked off. It's going to be another 5 minutes or so before we get the rest of it off, but the process is pretty much done. Like I said, make sure that anything that's going to touch the wine must be sanitized. I washed my hands to make sure there's no dirt on there. Obviously the carboy was clean before we sanitized it. Same thing with the auto siphon and the auto siphon tubing. Whoa. Wasn't paying attention, and the tip of the auto siphon. So I like to stay a little bit below the surface so that way I know that I'm not going to accidentally lose my siphon, because when we lose that siphon we also suck some air. Again, oxidation is not our friend at this point in time. So pay attention to what you're doing. Don't try to make videos while you're doing it, and you'll probably be more successful than I am right now. Well, we're about 3/4 of the way done. There's a strong possibility I'm going to rack over into a pitcher the last little bit, maybe the last half gallon or so, and drink that. Sample that. You could also do this with a racking cane. You don't necessarily have to use the auto siphon. The auto siphon is just a little bit easier. There's also a clamp that you can use that grabs a hold of the auto siphon and clamps to your carboy. But with me having these orange handles on there, along with my milk crates, the clamp is, oh shoot, there I did it again, started not paying attention. Anyway, back to the racking cane. You could be using a racking cane. You just want to fill up the racking cane and the siphoning tube with sanitizer, and then put your thumb over the bottom end or the end opposite of the racking cane. Take your thumb off once you get it below the carboy that you're racking from to create the siphon. Do not use your mouth to suck and start to siphon that way. So we're getting pretty close to the end here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to gently tilt this on its edge, as gently as I can, to try to get, like I said, most of the wine out of there that we can. And then when I do the final bottling out of that carboy, the last few bottles will definitely be given to myself. So that way no one else has to eat any potential sediment. Actually, this wine's going to be pretty clear. It's not going to be chewy per se, but it's also been bulk conditioning. So this started on 9/26/21, and today is April 25th, 2023. Alright, still look to be about another quart or two. And then of course we're going to sample it, see what it tastes like. We're getting pretty full down there. Oh, it's thick. We're stopping right now. I don't want that. So you can see in the tubing that there was some undesirable stuff coming through. So that's kind of disappointing that it happened so early there. Well, maybe not. I guess I'm exaggerating. There's maybe a 375 in there, not even a 750. So that's good. We'll call it good. And then we're going to just put a solid cork on this guy. We'll take a sample of the thicker stuff here after it settles out a little bit more. But yeah, that's how you rack over some wine into another vessel. This particular situation, we're going to be bottling out of that carboy. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care of yourself.